Debt ceilings. The golden retriever lived in a humble cardboard doghouse, decorated with bones he found, and a curtain made from an old hoodie sleeve. But Dog had a dream, a vision, a luxury apple-shaped villa with a heated floor made of roasted peanuts and a golden toilet shaped like a chew toy. So Dog did what any optimistic, slightly delusional retriever would do. He borrowed leaves. First a few, then a lot, then too many. Each time the squirrel bankers shrugged, stamped the paper and said, "Okay, but you'll owe us belly rubs with interest." Dog nodded. He didn't read the fine print. Dog never reads the fine print. Soon the doghouse was gone, replaced by a glowing fruit-shaped mega mansion. Dog added a jacuzzi filled with apple cider, a balcony for barking at delivery drones, a walk-in fridge just for bacon, but none of it was paid for. It was all on Dog's leaf card, TM. He kept tapping it, tap, 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 until one day, the squirrels at Acorn Financial called and said, "Dog, that's it. No more leaves. You hit your ceiling." Dog looked up. The sky was calm. Birds chirped. Then he saw it. Floating above his mansion, a literal ceiling made of duct-taped leaves, creaking under the weight of Dog's financial decisions. Dog tilted his head. Ceiling? What ceiling? He tapped the card again. It sparked. It hissed. It exploded into confetti that spelled declined. Dog tried to buy an apple-scented candle on sale. The screen just said no. In the distance, he heard thunder, except it wasn't thunder. It was the sound of economic limits smacking him in the snout. Now Dog was confused. Not just regular confused, existentially confused. Wait, I'm not asking for new stuff, Dog thought. I'm just trying to pay for the old stuff I already promised. But the squirrels didn't care. Rules are rules, they said. You can't borrow more until the ceiling moves up. Dog blinked. But I need to pay the cats for the 500 chew toys I ordered last fall. The cats were already meowing at his door, sharpening their claws. That's the thing most humans, and apparently most dogs, don't get about the debt ceiling. It's not like when you cut back on spending to save up for snacks. It's like ordering 1,000 snacks, and then halfway through checkout, your leaf card freezes. Not because you changed your mind, but because someone up top forgot to say, go. The retriever wasn't trying to buy new bones. He was just trying to pay for the ones he already buried. To really understand how weird this is, imagine this. Dog throws a dinner party. He invites his fancy animal friends. A bulldog in a tuxedo, a llama wearing pearls, and a raccoon who brought his own juice box. Dog yells, "Dinner's on me!" and charges everything on his leaf card, SATM. Halfway through dessert, just as the creme brulee kibble hits the table, the card pings. Limit reached. The lights go out. Guests freeze. A single leaf falls from the sky. The ceiling creaks, then collapses. Nobody finishes dessert. The raccoon starts sobbing. The llama files a complaint on Bark Talk. And Dog just stares at the mess, wondering how a fancy dinner turned into an economic metaphor. Dog sits on a beanbag made of shredded credit card bills, staring at the broken ceiling made of duct-taped leaves. It creaks when the wind blows. He thinks, so, no more leaves? But I already promised 1,000 chew toys, 600 belly rubs, and a trampoline made of spaghetti to other dogs. That's when the narrator, who might also be Dog, explains the truth. The debt ceiling isn't about future spending. It's about paying for the ridiculous shopping cart Dog already filled with chew toys during a Black Friday sale. Dog didn't plan new chaos, he's just trying to clean up the old chaos. The rule says, once Dog borrows a certain number of leaves, he needs permission to borrow more, even if it's to pay for things he already chewed. Imagine Dog orders 1,000 bones online. He pays with his leaf card, TM. A day later, the leaf counter says, no more leaves. But the bones are still coming. They're already halfway through delivery. Dog hides behind the couch. Now we enter the annual theater show. Dog and the squirrel accountants gather in a big oak room with dramatic lighting. They argue. One squirrel says, "Raise the ceiling." Another says, "Dog spends too much on scented candles." Everyone yells. Dog wears a tie to look serious, but it's actually just a leash wrapped wrong. While they argue, bills pile up. The Apple delivery dog keeps knocking. Dog hides again. If the ceiling doesn't get raised in time, the consequences start rolling in like a thunderstorm of financial doom. First, dog's credit score goes woof. Loud woof. The kind of woof that scares banks and makes investors spit out their apple juice. Suddenly, no one wants to lend dog leaves anymore. His usual lenders, Badger Bank, Hedgehog Holdings, and Shady Squirrel Savings, stop returning his calls. The price of leaves goes up. Dog cries. Inflation says hi. Panic sets in. Dog tries to pay rent in chew toys. Landlord laughs. Dog tries to sell his fur on dog list. Lightly used, still fluffy, the ad says. No bites. The only buyer offers 2 acorns and a sympathy bark. Dog accepts. So why does this keep happening? Why would dog set a ceiling he hits every year, then act surprised like it's a new problem? Because this is less about actual leaf management and more about bark-offs during election season. Politicians use the debt ceiling like a chew toy. One party says, "We need discipline." The other says, "We need apples for all." Meanwhile, dog just wants to know if he can afford peanut butter this month. Spoiler, he cannot. And here's where it bites the tail of the young pups watching. If dog's country defaults, if the leaf ceiling doesn't get raised in time, interest rates spike. That means student loans, credit cards, and even rent get more expensive. Dog's cousin, who just bought an iPhone on monthly payments, suddenly owes 5 apples instead of 3. The oat milk latte dog buys to feel alive now costs more than his entire breakfast. Even his emergency stick fund starts shrinking. This isn't just political drama. It's dog's everyday life. The ceiling may be made of duct-taped leaves and squirrel nonsense, but when it collapses, it lands on all of us. Especially young pups trying to grow trees in soil that keeps shaking. Dog had a plan, a genius plan. If the squirrels wouldn't raise the debt ceiling for him, he'd just raise it himself, with apples. Because in dog logic, if the problem is ceiling too low, then the solution must be build ladder out of fruit. He dragged Granny Smith's, Honeycrisps, and suspiciously bruised Golden Delicious into a pile. Stack, 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 wobble, stack. A ladder of apples, reaching for the sky like dog's financial optimism. Tall, unstable, and one sneeze away from collapse. He climbed. Slowly, carefully. His tail wagged with ambition. "Dog fix economy," he whispered mid-ascent. Halfway up, an old banana peel slid from the pile. The ladder trembled. Dog reached for one last apple rung. It gave out. He slipped. He spiraled. He crashed into a group of squirrels mid-protest, chanting, "Back to the bark standard." Signs flew. Leaves scattered. Dog landed in a trash can, labeled "Fiscal Responsibility." And that's when it hit him. Not the ceiling. He already hit that. The idea. The wisdom. If you build a roof you can't grow under, eventually your bones get moldy. The debt ceiling doesn't stop dog from spending. It just creates chaos after the snacks are already in the bowl. It's like yelling at dog for digging while standing in the hole. The damage is done. Now dog just wants a shovel and maybe a therapist. In the end, dog sat on a crate of expired apples, holding a single leaf like it was a lottery ticket. "Indo economy," he muttered. "Maxing out leaf card and arguing later is called budgeting." He took a bite of a wrinkled apple, grimaced. Tastes like democracy. Then he looked at the camera, silent, reflective. A leaf floated by. The raccoon from the dinner party poked his head in and whispered, "You still owe me dessert." Fade to black. Subscribe before dog sells more fur.